Tonight, scrapping production.
Devastated and overwhelmed. This is the worst case scenario.
Hundreds of employees out of work at Ingersoll's Cami assembly plant. Plus, standing up to the war machine.
We're here to make that violence visible. We're here to interrupt it.
Local demonstrators disrupting a military marketplace. And the Blue Jays bound for the World Series.
I'm still blown away.
I keep myself, restrain myself from not waking up my kids.
4 more wins from glory.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a major economic loss for our region. General Motors is stopping production of the BrightDrop delivery van at the Cami assembly plant in Ingersoll. It's a decision with major implications for the community and the wider manufacturing industry. For more on this, we're joined live by Brian Bicknell in Ingersoll tonight. Brian, what's the reaction been like to this announcement?
Well, I'll tell you, Carlyle, this news dropping like a ton of bricks this morning. Then, of course, it quickly spread throughout the town. Workers were expecting to go back to work in November. Hundreds of workers when production was set to resume, but that's all being scrapped. Now they're being told their services are no longer needed. Dark clouds hang over the BrightDrop Cami assembly plant, marking a sad day for the town of Ingersoll.
I never thought for a minute it would ever come to the point where they're almost shutting down, right?
Well, we've had multiple shutdowns here before, but you know, if this is going to be a permanent closure, that's a different story.
General Motors has announced it's ending production of its BrightDrop electric delivery van at Cami. Ingersoll Mayor Brian Petrie getting word from GM directly Tuesday morning.
Devastated and overwhelmed, and I think that'll be shared throughout the community. This is something that, this is a worst case scenario. Having the production ceased of the BrightDrop is, yeah, it's not a good day in town here at all.
GM says the decision stems from weak demand for the product, and production will not be moved elsewhere. The company also cites a changing regulatory environment, including the elimination of tax credits in the United States.
It's 100% political. I mean, it's two things. The sales have been slow, absolutely, but everyone's bowing to the guy in the U.S. He's trying to get all the production back in the U.S.
The plant currently has about 1,100 unionized employees. Production has been suspended since May, though about 400 had been expecting to go back to work next month, with the plant operating at one shift.
We got a lot of families in there, husbands, wives, partners, both. Everyone's in there working, and now it's been kind of pulled out from underneath their feet.
Local businesses that rely on Cami workers feeling anxious.
I'm going to have to pivot now, and I'm going to have to be very conscious and very sympathetic to my current customers.
It cost about $2 billion to retool this plant back in 2021 to make EVs. About $500 million of that came from Canadian and Ontario taxpayers. Now, with no commitment from GM, the future of this facility is uncertain.
We need jobs. This is going to decimate the town of Ingersoll, not to mention the county and just even London, Brantford, the surrounding areas.
And Tuesday's announcement also stated that hourly employees would receive 6 months' salary, possibly some lump sum payments, and also some benefits in line with the collective agreement with Unifor. Meanwhile, Mike Van Bokel says in short order they will be working on exit packages with employees. In the meantime, Mayor Brian Petrie sounding a positive note in all of this devastation. He is quick to point out that GM is not shuttering this plant. They're only stopping production right now, and he's hopeful that something else will go back into this facility, putting Ingersoll and Oxford County employees back to work. Back to you, Carlyle.
Brian Bicknell live for us tonight in Ingersoll. Thanks very much, Brian. Now, the company is claiming this decision was made purely because of low sales for the BrightDrop vehicle and not related to U.S. tariffs. John Venevalley-Rao has more on that and what this means for workers, many who are already in a precarious position.
Has worked at the GM Cami plant in Ingersoll for almost a decade, but we met with her as she put together a quilt at home. rather than assembling vehicles. Mullum was indefinitely laid off in February and now devastated to hear the electric van she hoped to go back to building is being scrapped.
This is heartbreaking.
Mullum and her husband have 2 adult sons living at home, and she fears she may never work at the plant again, worried about the tough financial decisions they'll have to make as a family.
I think that's the part that's stressing us both out more, is like, okay, what are we going to do? What's next? Where can we cut more corners?
General Motors delivering the news to workers this morning that it's ending production of its BrightDrop electric delivery vans. When they were launched in 2021, they were heralded as being part of GM's all-electric future. The provincial and federal governments invested millions to make it happen. But sales of the vans flopped, and GM says it simply couldn't afford to make vehicles that aren't selling.
The market hasn't developed to the levels that we expected. And then we have to be responsive to that as a responsible business.
Production is not being moved elsewhere. And as for whether this had anything to do with U.S. tariffs,
I can categorically say that this has nothing to do with tariffs.
The announcement comes a week after Stellantis said it was moving production of the Jeep Compass from Brampton, Ontario to Illinois. GM noting it's still got production happening in St. Catharines and Oshawa and says it has no plans to close the Ingersoll plant. Instead, it says it's working to find another vehicle.
They were adamant that the plant is not closing. There will be no more BrightDrop product, but they are looking for another product to fill the void. And as of right now, that's as much as we know.
But workers do worry with the U.S. tariffs in place, it may make it much harder to get a replacement.
Jonathan Valley-Rouse, CTV News, Ingersoll, Ontario.
London police say they're investigating a fatal crash this morning in the city's north end. Fire crews responded saying that extrication was required. Emergency responders had closed down a section of Fanshawe Park Road West while the scene was cleared. At this point, no details on what caused the crash or any potential charges have been released. World Series tickets sold out quickly this morning ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays' return to the Fall Classic, more than 3 decades in the making. They knocked out the Seattle Mariners last night in dramatic fashion. With more, here's Raheem Ladani.
This is what winning sounds like. And this is what it looked like Monday night as fans flooded the streets of Toronto.
These guys, they're not Cardinals, they're not Dubs, they are Blue Jays. And we are here, and we are here now, and we are heading to the World Series, baby. Come on!
Super excited! Game 7, World Series! Yeah!
This is absolutely monumental. We needed this, Canada. We needed this. Things aren't all gone to crap. We've got this, and the World Series will be a huge celebration for our country.
Swinging a fly ball to left. It was George Springer's monumental home run in the 7th inning that lifted the Jays to a come-from-behind victory. And fans are still savoring the moment.
I'm still blown away. Springer's the best. And him.
I lost my voice last night from screaming so loud.
I keep myself, restrain myself from not waking up my kids.
On Ticketmaster this morning, thousands of hopefuls spent hours trying to snag a ticket to the upcoming World Series. While outside the Jays shop, people have been lining up for hours. Everyone clamoring for merchandise to commemorate this historic postseason.
World Series gear, got that going on. It's a moment in time that even non-sports fans are going to appreciate, right? This was what brings the country together.
No one knows how baseball can unite a country better than Joe Carter. And the Blue Jays legend has a message for this team.
The job is not finished. And I like what Vlad said last night. He said we have 4 more games, and that's what they have to focus on. Don't be happy getting there. Go there to win it.
An opportunity to create their own touch-em-all Joe moment and cement themselves in baseball history. The focus now shifts to Game 1 on Friday night inside the ballpark behind me, where the Blue Jays will begin their quest for the franchise's 3rd World Series championship. Raheem Ladani, CTV News.
Good evening. We have a strong line of thunderstorms that is moving through the area, prompting some weather watches and warnings this afternoon. The main threat, damaging wind gusts. Now, a special weather statement in effect for London, Middlesex stretching to Oxford County now and through southern Huron and Perth. This includes Sarnia, Lambton and Elgin County as well, Chatham, Kent toward Windsor. Now, the storms that are moving through right now, moving through the Glencoe area with some intense lightning approaching London. They are moving to the northeast at about 70 kilometers per hour. hour. The main threat, as I mentioned, will be damaging wind gusts. We'll see some torrential rain as well as this first line makes the move through. So thunderstorms continuing across our area through the evening until about midnight tonight. So we do have the opportunity to pick up some significant pockets of rainfall. As we head through the overnight, the probability will drop down to about a 30% chance. We had a cold front come through this morning. I'll put it all together for you. We'll take a look at your 7-day coming up, and unsettled and cool as we head into tomorrow. I'll have your local weather in just a few minutes.
Thanks very much, Julie. Dozens of police vehicles converged on RBC Place this morning, responding to a protest outside a defense industry event. The demonstrators voicing their opposition to what they call the global war machine. With more, here's Sean Irvin.
Police with shields approach RBC Place as an anti-war protest continues. The group, made up of people from across the province, blocked entrances in an attempt to disrupt the Best Defense Conference. The annual event is a showcase of military equipment suppliers, including London-based General Dynamics Land Systems. The protesters contend all firms participating are enabling conflict.
We're here to make that violence visible, we're here to interrupt it, and we're here to demand that Canada stop arming Israel.
But shortly after 7:30 a.m., an incident resulted in police action. This couple from the Collingwood area had been part of the protest at the time.
We watched a person being arrested. He was wrestled to the ground.
Police confirm they responded as the protest escalated.
So the protest did commence quite small, but additional individuals did arrive on scene. One individual has been arrested in relation to property damage.
In the moments leading to that arrest, a large wave of police vehicles began to arrive. In excess of 25 were on scene, some blocking streets. With roads around the convention center, its parking garage, and a walkway from neighboring hotels barricaded, police and private security ushered in conference attendees through a side door. Each person passing by was jeered by protesters. This man stated the protest goes beyond the Israel-Gaza conflict.
I do have family in Gaza and other people as well that are attending, but this is not a Palestinian issue, not just a Palestinian issue. This is to really shut down the war machine.
Well, we're both 75 years old, and we really think we would like Canadians to wake up to the fact that peace does not come through the barrel of a gun, and we need to stop enabling the international arms trade.
CTV News reached out to General Dynamics officials for comment. A spokesperson returned our message but declined the opportunity. In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Private investigators are appealing for tips trying to solve a 40-year-old missing person case. No body has been found, but as Scott Miller reports, the people looking for Neil McDougall believe he was killed.
Neil and Mary Ellen McDougall had only been married 5 months when Neil went missing under suspicious circumstances 40 years ago.
Neil McDougall, he was the most loving, caring man that I have ever known in my life. Everybody in town loved him.
McDougall was last seen leaving a residence in Ayton on October 12, 1985. Investigators believe that something happened that night that led to his disappearance. McDougall is in fact presumed to be dead and most likely murdered, says his widow.
Anybody that really, truly knew Neil from Durham knows that something happened to him that night. He was definitely killed that night.
That is also the prevailing theory shared by private investigators with Please Bring Me Home. They've been looking into Neil's missing persons case since 2019. They believe 3 people who allegedly saw Neil the night he went missing hold the key to cracking the case.
The majority of those 3 have been extremely uncooperative with wanting to talk about that evening, which is concerning. So it could just be that because they saw Neil that night, they've been pointed at possibly knowing something, and maybe they're just tired of it. It also could be that they actually do know something.
Regardless, 40 years later, Oldreeve believes there is a strong sense of hope that Neil's disappearance will be solved, and possibly soon.
Someone who knows has already agreed to reach out and talk with us. So I think if anyone else knows something, they are running out of time, and they're really running out of time to say their side of the story about what happened that evening.
Which is exactly what Mary Ellen McDougall would like to see. Someone who knows what happened to her late husband stand up and bring an end to her 40 years of questions without answers.
His family was devastated. His friends were devastated. And there are no answers. So peace, I guess, peace for those who have passed, peace for his family that's still here.
We need closure. Anybody that has lost missing people, they need closure, It's been a tough 40 years.
Near Durham, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Sarnia police say they've laid charges and arrested a suspect through a sexual assault and child luring investigation. As Lauren Stallone reports, they're calling this a warning to all social media users about the risks some apps pose.
From different filters to streaks to a feature that even lets you know what your friends are up to, Snapchat is a go-to source of communication for many. But for one 14-year-old girl from Sarnia, it turned into something far more serious when she began talking to a man on the app who told her he was 20 years old.
That communication ended up evolving into requests for nude images. And then the individual, the male involved, started sending pictures of himself and video of himself doing various things with himself.
Sarnia police say the man started sending Uber Eats orders to the girl's school. It is believed he learned of her location through the Maps function on Snapchat.
Eventually, the individual was able to find out where she lived.
Investigators say he provided the young girl with an iPhone so they could continue to communicate without her parents finding out.
There was an interaction in the garage there while no one was home where the individual touched the young girl in a sexual manner.
The girl's parents caught wind of the situation and reported the incident to police. The suspect was arrested and charged with a number of offenses, including sexual assault and child luring. Experts warn social media is a risky place, but when you opt in to share your location with fellow users, it raises the stakes to a terrifying new level.
Most Snapchat users are, in fact, teens, and they're particularly vulnerable to predatory behavior from adults. So mix that with a location-aware service that allows anyone on their friends list to know exactly where they are, and you can definitely see the potential for a disaster and a crime.
Tech analyst Carmi Levy says parents should become familiar with the kinds of things their kids may run into while using various social media apps.
It's really about having that mutual bidirectional trust so that you can talk about what's going on in your kid's account, who they're messaging with, and you can catch these issues before they become problematic.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
The lawyer for the Thames Valley District School Board has resigned. In an email to staff today, the board's education director announced Ali Chabar is pursuing other opportunities. He had left the board following the spending scandal where top officials spent tens of thousands of dollars on a weekend retreat in Toronto. The provincial government has since appointed a supervisor to oversee the board as it reckons with a ballooning multi-million-dollar deficit. Chabar had been with the board since 2018.
Accurate only 17% of the time.
Coming up, a scathing report calling out issues at the CRA, failing to help Canadians with their tax inquiries. Plus, Avian flew under investigation in Midwestern Ontario. Details on the location officials are focused on.
CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. A report from Canada's Auditor General is shedding light on systemic failures at the Canada Revenue Agency. It found staff are slow to respond and often provide answers to taxpayers that fall short. With more, here's Abigail Beeman.
You don't need to be sidelined. You don't need to be stalled. You don't need to be dropped. You need to be dealt with and worked with.
David Cornish is not surprised by the Auditor General's findings about shortcomings at the Canada Revenue Agency. He's spent enough time trying to get through himself.
Hours and hours, and then dropped. And the next day, hours and hours, and then dropped.
Even if you have to wait, when you get through, you should get an accurate response.
The report found during test calls, non-specific questions about benefits fared the best, but callers only got accurate information 56% of the time. Business tax questions were only 54% accurate. And at the bottom of the barrel, non-account specific individual tax questions answered correctly only 17% of the time. Put another way, if you ask a general question about your individual taxes, you have an 83% chance of getting a wrong answer from the Canada Revenue Agency.
We found that the accuracy was much higher when questions pertain to specific accounts.
Why does this government force Canadians to pay so much for such terrible service?
We are holding CRA to account. The 100-day plan is showing, I think, spectacular results so far. We've got a lot of work to do.
The government says they've already hired more employees and beat their own goal, which was to have 70% of calls answered at all. The latest data from 2 weeks ago puts calls answered at 90%. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
A park in Mount Forest has reopened after avian flu concerns shut it down. Dead geese were found, and local experts say it was likely the same virus that killed birds in Wellington County. Hannah Schmidt reports.
Murphy Park in Mount Forest opened once again after a precautionary closure following the discovery of some dead geese in the nearby Saugeen River last week.
We did monitor the park over the weekend, and we wanted to make sure there were no additional sightings and that there was nothing nearing the shoreline. We were mostly concerned about children or pets, potentially coming in contact with the dead birds.
The township of Wellington North says the Canadian Wildlife Health Cooperative was called in to investigate.
We were able to confirm with the resident that there had been no contact, so we weren't too concerned about public safety at that point.
The birds at Murphy Park weren't tested, but other geese found nearby were and came back positive for avian influenza. Based on that and the history of avian flu detection in the area, the cooperative believes the same virus is to blame.
There was another potential case earlier in October, which has been confirmed that the avian influenza was present in a wild goose. So we're sort of aware that it's in the area, and we need to be careful, take precautions.
Public Health says it's not uncommon for wild birds to carry the virus, especially during migration.
It was a very active year down in the States for H5N1. So it wasn't something that we were too surprised of to start seeing more in Ontario and across Canada.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency also confirmed an avian flu outbreak in a commercial poultry farm in Wellington County on October 8th.
Wellington, Dufferin, Guelph County was one of the first places to get it in a commercial flock. The human risk, though, is extremely, extremely, extremely low.
And while Public Health and the township say the park is now safe to visit,
we did talk to them this week and suggest to reopen it once the carcasses were removed.
They're still encouraging caution when it comes to close contact with birds or contaminated areas. Symptoms can include fever, muscle aches, cough, sore throat, breathing difficulties, and vomiting, though the virus is not easily spread from person to person. The township says while the overall risk remains low, they'll continue monitoring the area as a precaution. Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Mount Forest.
Julie's on the desk with me now, and it was a rather pleasant afternoon here in London, at least. But things are sure changing, as you showed us the radar earlier in the newscast about what's on the way right now.
Yes, and some areas have picked up some strong thunderstorms and some gusty winds. And today's been an active day in terms of this cold air that's coming in, bringing about some water spouts in our region. Thank you so much to Jim Anderson for sending this one in from Port Burwell. And of course, water spouts, when the lakes are relatively warm, we get this cool air mixing in, and it creates this funnel-shaped cloud that's in contact with the water. Now, conditions across our region as we head through the next couple of days, we could see some more water spouts. Our special weather statement in effect, warning of strong gusty winds through the evening. Wind gusts could hit 90 kilometers per hour. 15 degrees our high temperature today, 4 degrees our low. Comparing that with what's normal for this time of year, we were coming in just a bit above. So the forecast this morning played out with a cold front coming through early in the day, and that's what brought our rainfall. As soon as that front rather cleared, we got into some nice breaks of sunshine, and that allowed the temperature to come back up. Right now at the London airport, 13 degrees. As we head north, 11 in areas picking up some rainfall in the last hour. Temperatures starting to dip down. So here's this band of rain that's coming into London right now with some thunderstorms associated with it. I mentioned some lightning strikes, so this will be pushing through in the next 35-40 minutes. It'll continue to drive off to the east, but there's more behind it. So as we head through the late evening and towards 11 to midnight, there's still the potential for some showers and thunderstorms. So you can see this mid-level circulation that's coming through. So this is the cold front that moved through this morning, and now we're dealing with this wraparound effect. So what's happening is we have some cool air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. It's a mid-level closed low. It is circulating this cold air back down towards the surface. That comes in contact, of course, with the air over the lakes. We see lake effect showers and lots of action coming down in the form of rainfall. So as we go out 48 hours, this weather pattern will hold. It will slowly start to weaken, but we'll be into showers through the day tomorrow. So not an all-day rain. And it's one of those forecasts where this time of year, when you get that cold flow in the upper atmosphere, you have to wait 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then you get a little bit more rain, and then it starts to look like it's going to clear up, and then another little bit of rain comes in. So just be prepared heading out the door over the next couple of days. You'll definitely need to keep your umbrellas handy, and you'll need a jacket, especially for tomorrow, as it will be quite cool. I normally don't share this map with you. This is an upper level map, about 500 millibars. So this is the mid-level of the atmosphere, about 5,500 meters. And what I wanted to show you was this trough that's in place. So that's a big shift for us. And this is the low pressure area that's over the Great Lakes. So it has some cool air, and definitely our weather pattern over the next couple of days. So that mid-level low will just slowly edge its way out. Overnight, temperature-wise, 5 degrees across most of the region. If you're near Lake Huron or Erie, about 8 degrees. Waking up tomorrow morning to the chance of showers at 6 degrees, 8 by noon, and the forecast high, just 9. So it's going to be one of those cool, damp days. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast for Thursday, the showers will wane in coverage, so not quite as in extreme as it will be tomorrow, so they will start to weaken just a bit. Then on Friday, we're into a nice mix of sun and cloud, the probability dropping down to about a 30% chance. Daytime highs over the next 7, close to where we should be, with the exception the next couple of days will be a bit cooler as we head towards Saturday and Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud both days, and a mix Monday into Tuesday. Overnight lows, that's right where we should be, anywhere between 4 and 6 degrees. Rain's expected heading through Huron and Perth County, already picking up some rainfall right now in Huron, and that will continue to drive eastward. Periods of rain, possibility of thunderstorms until about midnight, with the risk of gusty winds. Then as we head into tomorrow, showers, they'll be scattered in nature, and then lake effect rain will continue Thursday into Friday. Lots of cool air, typical fall pattern. Peaks of sunshine, though, expected this weekend, with daytime highs back into the double digits. Carlyle between 10 and 11 degrees. So an active weather pattern. Again, some cool air slowly starting to move in, and that brings a big shift for us in terms of our forecast, and we'll be in and out of the rainfall as we push towards midnight tonight.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Well, when we come back, an increasing inflation rate last month, details on those numbers and what's costing more.
We are so excited the Toronto Blue Jays are headed to the World Series.
But we can only afford one shirt, so we decided to share it.
Yay!
Yay!
We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. with 2 shirts this time.
Canada's inflation rate increased to 2.4% in September, shifting attention to the Bank of Canada's next interest rate decision later this month. According to Stats Canada, the Consumer Price Index rose because of smaller drops in gasoline prices and a 4% increase in food prices. Many economists expect the central bank to cut its prime rate by another quarter point on October 29th. A council committee is recommending 1-hour free street parking downtown and in the Old East Village be extended until the end of the year.
At the moment, the free 1-hour parking is slated for termination by the end of this month. It has been beneficial to businesses in the core area.
There's about $50,000 still unspent in the parking promotions budget. The current program was set to expire at the end of October, and based on current rates, the remaining budget can cover the rest of 2025. Drivers must use the Halt mobile app to qualify. The promotion will continue at least until Council makes a final decision on November 4th. If you don't already have a World Series ticket, good luck getting one. Many of the seats sold this morning were scooped up by scalpers, instantly relisted online at massive markups. And as Pat Ford reports on social media, ticket scams are rampant.
And a swing and a fly ball to left field. As the Toronto Blue Jays get ready to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers, at one point this morning, there were 235,000 fans online trying to purchase tickets. They sold out in about 30 minutes. Cadence Bunky of Toronto was one of the lucky fans.
Once I got through, there were not that many tickets left already. Like, a lot of them were resale.
Bunky was able to buy 2 seats in the 500 level for $500 each, and 2 in the 200 level were $750 per ticket.
I was shocked by the face value when I got through. I was like, that's a lot, but everyone was messaging me that they couldn't even get through the queue, so I figured, well, I better buy these.
I just wanted to go by myself because I'm such a massive Jays fan.
Taylor Belford was scammed trying to buy a single Jays ticket through a Facebook group. It was for Game 6 of the Jays and Seattle Mariners. At $150 for a ticket in the 200 level, she says it seemed like a bargain, but the seller claimed they couldn't go and didn't want the seat to be wasted.
It was, again, somebody supposedly that had tickets that wasn't going to be able to go, that didn't really care about the money.
After she transferred the money, the seller said he couldn't separate 2 tickets and told her to send another $150. When she asked for a refund, she says it was clear she had been scammed.
I just lost that money, and I don't want other people to have to go through that too. So just be careful.
Tickets are now selling on the secondary market. On Ticketmaster, 500 level tickets are selling for $2,000 to $3,000. The price jumps to $7,500 in Section 115. If you wanted to be closer to the action, you could pay almost $20,000 for 2 tickets. Over on StubHub, prices were about the same, if not more. In Section 22, 2 seats will cost you more than $12,000. But in Row 1, Section 21, 2 seats will set you back almost $25,000. But that's VIP with all you can eat and drink. You may find tickets cheaper, but be cautious if you see deals on social media. Chances are they're a scam.
I think they want to keep this Facebook group open to keep scamming people.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Checking today's market numbers, the TSX was weighed down by losses in the mining and technology sectors, plunging more than 500 points. Mixed results in New York as the Dow rose 218, the Nasdaq slipped 36. The Canadian dollar up slightly. On commodity markets, gold crashed more than $250 an ounce, while oil fell 22 cents a barrel. Still ahead, a survivor shares her story. The local woman who overcame breast cancer, hoping to inspire others.
5K a day is back on 97.5 Virgin Radio. Listen to Jeff KP and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
Hi, my name is Pam Tobin. I'm the CEO of the Canadian Mental Health Association, Thames Valley Addiction and Mental Health Services. CMHA Thames Valley offers a really wide breadth of services, right from prevention through to being well in the community and every step in between. We're the only community-based mental health and addiction services organization that provides a full continuum of care to meet our clients wherever they are in their journey to wellness. Some of the biggest challenges facing people in the community that we serve is supportive housing. Housing is a basic human right, but it's often a human right that's not afforded to our clients and the people that we serve. It's really important that we work with our clients to provide stable housing in order to help them live well. In order to do that, we need to have funding, we need to have increased base funding, and we need to have support from our community. The campaign that we're launching is called From Lost to Found. The goal is to raise $8.5 million to support our clients in their journey to wellness. The majority of that is supportive housing. Like I said before, supportive housing is a basic human right. For more information on our From Lost to Found campaign and how you can make a difference, feel free to visit our website or click on the QR code.
London police say no charges will be laid related to a fatal motorcycle crash earlier this year. Investigators say the person riding the motorcycle was doing so at excessive speeds, which caused the crash with the sedan. It happened at Hyde Park Road and Fitzwilliam Boulevard back in July. In response, nearby residents launched a petition calling for speed reduction measures and a crackdown on aggressive driving. Border agents in Windsor say someone was able to drive a transport truck onto the new Gordie Howe Bridge last month before they were forced to turn around. According to the border agency, the trucker got onto the bridge from the U.S. side and was intercepted before reaching the Canadian port of entry. The driver was turned around and told to take the Ambassador Bridge instead. A spokesperson says there was no opportunity for the trucker to actually get into Canada because of multiple security barriers and extensive fencing. The Gordie Howe Bridge is still under construction. A petition urging the federal government to support relocating 30 beluga whales at Marineland has cleared 10,000 signatures. The Change.org petition calls on the government to reject euthanizing the remaining belugas. Government officials have so far denied Marineland's request to transfer the whales to a park in China. Marineland is no longer open to the public. Officials with the park have said without emergency funding, they will have no choice but to kill the remaining whales. A local cancer survivor is sharing her story ahead of a day recognizing the arduous journey for people living with breast cancer. Rita Ismail has more on her message for others fighting similar health battles.
Jen Croker was diagnosed with breast cancer 3 years ago. At the time, she was just 35 years old.
I found it right after my wedding, so as everybody is supposed to be going on honeymoons and planning their family and thinking about that, I was deciding what to do for reconstruction.
Croker says she faced several scary decisions during her cancer treatment, with little time to think about her choices. Her surgeon, Dr. Sarah Knowles, asked her a question.
What do you want in 3 years? What do you think you're going to want in a few years when all of this part of the journey is done? And so it really made me realize there's a finish line.
Jen decided she wanted a breast reconstruction surgery with implants after her bilateral mastectomy, a choice she says she's grateful she was able to make.
We are humans, and this is really, really hard to figure out. And so it's nice to have support of people who have gone through it.
Jen has been working closely with her surgeon to let others who may be going through the same journey know that they have options too.
When a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer or identifies at increased risk for breast cancer, I think it's a very stressful time, and I think there's a lot of decisions that need to be made, and so women are sometimes a bit overwhelmed or confused about all the different options. And so I love that we can offer all these things, but I think it's a bit of working through that with the woman and seeing what they would like to do, and providing that choice and option for a woman really helps to give them back a little bit of control.
I decided that we were going to make some cookies that represented all of the different and beautiful results that you get when you have reconstruction.
This week, Jen will be a model for other breast cancer survivors facing the same decision at St. Joseph's Healthcare in London as they host their annual Breast Reconstruction Awareness Day, also known as Bra Day, this Thursday, October 23rd from 6 to 9 p.m. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Tomorrow on CTV News, pasta with a twist. Italian food company Andriani opening its first North American operation here in London. That's tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
Welcome back to KP's Rescue 975, brought to you by London's Airport Kia. This week, we're meeting 8-year-old Angie. She's arriving in style in a brand new 2026 Kia Sportage plug-in hybrid. Angie is a gentle sweetheart who spent most of her life as a puppy mill mom. Now she's finally discovering what it means to be safe, loved, and part of a family. She's calm, independent, and really appreciates her routines and quiet spaces. Angie is house-trained and gets along beautifully with dogs, cats, and kids. But here's the big thing. She'll need another dog in her forever home. Having a furry friend gives her the confidence and comfort she needs as she continues to blossom. If you're looking for a gentle, loving soul to make your house a home, Angie's your girl. Learn more at animalert.ca. It was beautiful just before the rain this morning. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for sending this photo in from Ilderton. Chance of showers will linger overnight. Cool conditions for your Wednesday. We'll break into a bit of sunshine Friday and through the weekend.
London City councillors are admitting an aggressive housing policy they approved last year went too far, opening the door for dense developments on formerly single-family properties. Daryl Newcomb has more on the unintended consequences.
If you wanted affordable housing, go after landlords and compel them to lower rent instead of putting London neighborhoods in the crosshairs.
Recent council decisions permitting 4 units as a right on a residential property and the removal of bedroom limits in areas not deemed near campus neighborhoods were blamed by neighbors around Elmdale Avenue for a developer's ability to build 32 bedrooms on this site where a single-family home once stood.
We are seeing a couple of applications where applicants have pushed right to the limit of what they can get.
So a motion by Deputy Mayor Sean Lewis and Councillor Corinne Rahman would set a limit of 2 bedrooms per additional residential unit and limit their size to 80% of the gross floor area of the main dwelling. Plus, there'd be a 3-bedroom maximum with several combinations of ARUs and main dwelling units. Several councillors admitting that their decision to lift bedroom limits in 2024 should have been better thought through.
There's no doubt in my mind that the situation has to be, or our policy, revisited. None of us were thinking of this kind of an intensification.
Definitely a lesson learned for me personally. Going forward, when I agree to as of right, I will be really cautious.
Enacting the changes in the motion would require a 90-day process that includes a public participation meeting. But several councillors expressed concern that there may be a rush of applications from developers looking to get in under the existing rules.
If there is a way for us to put in an interim control bylaw to mitigate any applications in that window, that time period.
City staff will provide details to council about whether an interim control bylaw could be used to temporarily pause the permitting process. But the deputy mayor doesn't think it's necessary.
I'm pretty confident that this fairly short turnaround can accommodate a change without a flood of applications.
City council will consider the motion on November 4th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Start times for each game in the upcoming World Series will be around 8 p.m. And for parents with young fans in the house, that could mean some negotiations when it comes to bedtime. With more on how to handle those requests, here's Pauline Chan.
Dr. Sally Kenaway was up last night with her 5-year-old nephew watching the Jays, but he didn't get to see the Game 7 winning homer by George Springer.
He really wanted to, but he got so tired, poor guy. So he went to bed in the 5th inning.
He got the winning score in the morning.
And so they updated him, and then they let him watch some highlights this morning before school.
Kenaway says she's a huge Jays fan, as well as Humber River's chief of pediatrics, and parents have some room for negotiations about bedtimes during the World Series.
Every kid is different. Every parent knows their kid best. So if a child has an important test the next morning, an important event, then maybe, try to negotiate going to bed earlier. And some kids, just the way they are, just their nature, they need routine.
For kids 5 and under, make a deal like her nephews to go to bed midway and catch up on highlights the following morning. But for older kids?
So it's a historic moment for Torontonians. Let the kids stay up, make an event out of it. They'll build memories. And you can actually use it as a learning experience.
For example, like how to handle the emotional roller coaster of winning or losing, and good sportsmanship.
George Springer got hit by a pitch. The other team was booing. A lot of kids are going to have questions about that. And I don't think that's something that should be encouraged, booing other teams when someone gets injured. So I think we need to be really conscious of our own behavior and what we're doing and know that our kids are going to model that.
If your child is tired the next day, a nap could help.
A limited nap after school, like a 30-minute nap. We're not talking 2-3 hours.
But she says fortunately 4 of the World Series games are scheduled on weekends, making things a little easier for fans and families. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Welcome back. Blue Jays merchandise was in high demand this morning at the team's official shop.
I was born in '93, so it's my first time in a World Series, and you know I used to work here as well, so it's very nice to see this place actually become a World Series contender. Yeah.
As a former employee, you seen the store this busy before?
Yeah, on game days, you know, absolutely. But this is a different kind of pandemonium.
Yeah. Different energy, eh?
Different energy, absolutely. But it's to be expected because it is World Series.
I mean, we were hoping to get some hats, but he was only able to walk away with one.
They're all gone already, eh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Did you expect it to be this busy?
No, not really. No, not at all.
Honestly, I didn't know what they would have. I just sort of wanted to see what shirts they were wearing. I saw at the game last night they had the really great ALCS shirts, and I thought maybe I could pick one up, and I somehow have one in my hands.
Can I ask you, sir, what is it you're trying to get your hands on inside the store? Hats? Hats?
We were at the game last night, but they sold out right away.
Of course, right?
Yeah, so we came back this morning.
And finally tonight, an amateur drummer who spent more than 3 decades pumping up crowds outside Rogers Centre and now ready to call it quits. His name is Rick Donaldson. He's been busking outside Blue Jays home games since 1989. And after all that time, he says the upcoming World Series will be his last.
Favorite part is my interaction with the fans. You know, it's more fans pumping them up, you know, getting them ready to cheer hard inside.
Game 1 of the World Series Friday night in Toronto. That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.